Hi everyone, this is Pam Hubler. I'm so excited that you are here with us today for the Back to School Conference for Teachers and Educational Leaders. The session you're joining right now is 10 Things That You Didn't Know About Google Meet. And this one was inspired by a podcast that I did with Casey Bell not too long ago because we created a course on how to use Google Meet for educators. It has tons of information for you. So if this gives you a little bit of an idea, but you want more, the link to that course is below the video, and you can check that out if you'd like. A little bit about myself. I, again, am Pam Hubler, and you can find me on Twitter at Special Techie. You can find me on Instagram at Pam_EDU Coach. And you can also find my blog at spedtechie.com/blog. And then my day job is I am an innovative learning coordinator in South Carolina, where I get to work with teachers every day on technology integration and other innovative practices to just make learning better every day for the kids. And as far as Shake Up Learning goes, I am a community manager for her Facebook group. I am also one of the Shake Up Learning trainers, and I am a Google certified trainer, Google for Education certified educator level 1 and level 2. So there's lots of Google going on there, and you may have already seen some of the other sessions. I get googly. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to go through my presentation, and then I'll go into a live meet and I'll record that so you can see exactly where everything is that I talk about. All right, first things first. This is the new layout of Google Meet. You can still see the join code, and you can see how you add others on the top left-hand side. You can see the join code down on the bottom and your time. I have it covered right here just so that way you don't need to use that code for anything. The bottom toolbar right here, this is a part of the upgrade version. So if you don't have a paid version, like a Google Workspace for Education, and you just have a personal account, you might only see these icons right here. What you'll be missing is the hand raising option. Everything else will look the same. And then over on the bottom right hand side, you'll see in the paid version, you see just the information, you see the group, you see your chat. This is the activities, which you do see that, but you'll see different things depending on what version you have. And then host controls. Host controls is not something that is in the free version. So if you have a personal account, you might only see these 4 icons instead of these 5 icons. And I'll show you the difference. All right, the first tip I want to share with you is how to change the layout of meeting participants. And there are 4 different options here. We have auto, we have tiled, we have spotlight, sidebar, and then you can also change the number of maximum tiles displayed. Now, this screenshot right here does show that I have them tiled because I wanted to see the presentation, but I also wanted to see who else was in the session. And then this one on the top left, this one is sidebar. And then once I pop open my messages, all the participants show up on the bottom. So I really like that view because then I can see my presentation or whatever I'm working on. I can see the participants on the bottom, and then I can see the chats on the right-hand side. And in a live session, I'll show you the difference between the auto, tiled, spotlight, and sidebar. All right, and then there is using captions in a video call. This one's very nice if, for one, you're in a loud area and you need to be able to see what somebody's saying because you can't really understand them very well. Or it's great for if you actually do have some issues with hearing. So that's an option. And all you have to do is click on the 3 little dots on the bottom, the ellipses, and then this will pop up and it shows you captions. You can choose whether they're off, and then you could choose your language and just click apply. And then the words will just come across the bottom of your screen and you'll be able to see everything that the person is saying. And you only are doing that for yourself. So each person has control over seeing captions. So if you show them yourself, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to see captions. And then host controls and quick access. And this part, I do have upgrade written next to it because you won't see quick access and host controls in the bottom right hand side if you are in a personal account. So, and that's this little blue icon on the very bottom right hand side. You can click on it there. There's a couple different places you can get to it. You can also get to it in the settings. Like if you want to see view all host settings, then you can see your audio, your video, and your host controls. Host controls are nice, especially when you're working with students, because it gives you some control over what they can show and what everybody else sees. So you can choose if you want them to share their screen. You can choose if you want them to be able to chat, because sometimes it's appropriate and sometimes it may not be. And then a really important one is on the bottom. This is quick access. When it's turned off, the host must join first. Only people invited by the host can join without asking, and then everyone else has to ask to join. So, and they can't join anonymously. They have to have a Google account in order to join. And then only the host can dial out of a meeting. So if they actually want to add somebody, then they can do it, but only the host can do that. And another place where you can control it is right here. When you pop open the quick access, you'll see this where you can flip this on or off, share their screen, send chat messages, and quick access. So there's a couple different places that you can get to these settings. All right, another tip I talked about in that podcast that I wanted to make sure I mentioned here was the Google Slides presentation shortcut and tips. There are two different ways that you can present during a Google Meet. One, you can publish to the web, or you can just do that in Google Drive, open your file, and then go to File, and then click on Publish to the web. And I'll show you what this looks like. And then all you have to do is copy that link and send it to anyone that you want to be able to see it. Another thing you can do is write the word present at the end of the URL and hit enter, and it will show in presentation mode without losing your tabs. That's how I'm presenting right now. And I'll show you how I can do both of those things. All right, in my presentation, I'm just going to go File, and then I am going to go down to Publish to the web. Another screen pops up. I can choose whether I want it to auto advance. 3 seconds is the default. I can start slideshow as soon as it loads, or I can restart. But I'm just going to go ahead. I'll change it to every minute. I'm going to click Publish, and then it shows me this notification. Are you sure you want to publish? Yes. I click OK, and then it gives me a link. All I have to do is copy it, Control C, copy it, and then I can share it wherever I need to. I can also embed it if I want to. If I have a website or something like that, I can embed that there. But I'll just go back to link. I would copy that and I would share that. Now, if I wanted to send that in a Google Meet in the chat, I could do that. And then everyone can see their own. Or if I just open a new tab and I paste it, you'll see it in presentation mode just like I had it. So it's very easy to publish to the web. Another thing I'll show you is when you are looking in the Omnibox, that's what this is up here, I'm going to go all the way to the end, and I'm going to backspace. And I'm just going to type the word present and hit enter. When I do that, it pops into presentation mode. But you'll notice I don't lose any of my tabs, which is really nice because if I am in a Google Meet, I want to be able to see where my Meet is and where my presentation is. So it's just a quick little tip to show you how you can present during a Google Meet. And this is what it looks like in a Google Meet, but I'll show you that in a live meeting as well. You're going to see a couple of me here. Here are the chat controls. On the very bottom, you can see there's an icon right here that looks like the little message icon. You click on that, it opens up. You can see all the chats. And if you want, during the chat, you can click this on or off. So if there is a time where you're asking your students to participate, you can have it on. But if you don't want them participating, you just want them listening, you can flip it off. And then you can see this is what it looks like on the left-hand side. When after I turned it off, what it looks like to them. You can see everyone is in it, and it says chat isn't available at this time, meaning that's what the students see. I can still send messages as a presenter. They cannot, which is nice because sometimes you have to have that control. All right, tip number 6 is leaving a call versus ending a call. And this is also a part of the upgrade. You only have one option in a personal account. But in a Google Workspace account, you do have two options. One, you can just leave the call. When you just leave the call, you will see this message. You left the meeting. You can rejoin, or you can return to the home screen, which just goes to meet.google.com. Now, if you end the call, that means it turns quick access off, and it says you ended the meeting for everyone. It only gives you the option to return to the home screen. What that does is nobody can get into it until you're into it again, which is really nice, especially when you're working with students, because you don't have to worry about them joining a meet just to hang out or do inappropriate things on a call. We don't want that. So we want to make sure that we end the call if we're working with students. Now, if I set something up for our PLC or grade level meetings, I want to just leave the meeting. I don't want to end it because I want anyone to be able to use that link at any time. So you decide which one is more appropriate based on your audience. And I'll go through that in a live Google Meet as well, just so you can see the difference between the two. Another thing you can do in the upgrade version is record a meeting. You can't record a meeting in a personal account. Of course, you can use Screencastify if you want to in a Google Meet, and you don't have to worry about recording within. But the recording a meeting within Google Meet is very nice because you don't have to worry about the length of your video, and it will save automatically to your drive. So what you will see is when you click on the dots at the very bottom, the ellipses, you'll get this pop up. And you'll see record a meeting right under the whiteboard open the Jam. Now, again, you won't see that at all if you have a personal account. But if you're using a workspace account, then you will see the record a meeting. Another thing is sometimes your organization might turn it off for you. If they don't want you recording meetings, they might turn it off. So if you don't see it and you know you have a workspace account and you have a certain purpose for it, you can always reach out to your technology department or whoever controls that, whoever your Google admin is, and they might be able to work with you on that. That's out of my control though. Once you're ready to record a meeting, you just click record meeting, and then this message will pop up. Make sure everyone is ready. And it gives you that warning about recording a meeting without the consent of your participants. So I always say, hey, I'm going to record that call. Is that okay? Just to give them the heads up. So then if somebody joins after you're already recording, they're going to get this message. So it says ready to join, and then it shows who's in the call and gives them the option to join now. So that way they at least know that it's being recorded when they show up. All right, Jamboard integration. This is tip number 8. This can be used whether you have a personal or a free account, thankfully. It's a really neat feature, and there's lots of extra resources on how to use Jamboard during a Google Meet or just how to use Jamboard in general. So you'll find some of those linked below the video as well. When you click on the activities icon, which is right here, both in a personal and a workspace account, you can see it's on the bottom of each of these. If I click on this icon, it'll pop up where I can see all the different activities: breakout rooms, polls, Q&A, recording, and whiteboard. I'm looking for the whiteboarding. When I click on whiteboarding, I will see this message pop up. Would you like to open this up by starting a new whiteboard or choosing from Drive? If you have one that you already started, you would choose from Drive. If you just want to start fresh, you decided, you know what, let's do this together. Click Start a New Whiteboard, and it opens up. And that's what this is right here. It's just a blank document, and it's almost like Google Slides, but everybody can add to it. And they can add those sticky notes. And I won't really be able to get into all the features that Jamboard has in this one, but I do go into the Google Meet course if you're interested. And then if you do have a personal account, if you click on activities, the only thing you're going to see is the whiteboarding. So you do have this option whether you have the personal or if you have the paid version, which is really nice. So check it out, try it with a friend or try it with another coworker. Try it with students and just see how it goes. Tip number 9, breakout rooms. And this is an upgrade. So again, when you click on the activities icon on the very bottom, that looks like the triangle, the square, and the circle, you will get a list of activities. Now, personal account, like I said, you will only see the whiteboarding, but in the paid version, you will see breakout rooms, polls, Q&A, and recording as well. So I clicked on breakout rooms this time, where it just splits into smaller group discussions. And here's a couple examples of what it looks like. I can set up breakout rooms, and then I can also join them from here myself. So I can go back and forth as the teacher or presenter. And I can also, if people are invited or they're already in the call, their names will just pop up automatically and I can drag them to whatever breakout I want. I can also rename these. So, and you can choose how many rooms, you can set a timer, you can shuffle the people, you can clear your decision if it was automatically populated and you don't like the automated population of your participants, you can click clear. And I'll show you this also in a live Google Meet. Tip number 10, Google Classroom generated meeting links. This is super convenient, especially if you use Google Classroom and just Google tools in school. Once you have your class created, you will have to, you can generate a meet link the first time you go in there. And once you click on that, generate it, it will automatically generate it for you. And then you can just copy and paste if you want, or your students will already be able to see it if you have this flipped on visible to students. You can turn it off if you want, if you don't want them to get to it or know what the meeting link is when they're not ready to join. So you could flip this on or off and save. And that link will stay the same unless you go into your settings and you decide you want to reset it. All right, now let's go ahead and get into a live Google Meet before we finish up the end of my actual slides presentation so I can show you all the different components of a Google Meet. And I will be showing you a paid version through a workspace account. So if you have a personal account, just know that there are a few features that you won't be able to see on yours. And we're back. Now we're in a live Google Meet. I have myself, I'm presenting, and I have, it also does say me, but it's my personal account. So let's go ahead and show you a little bit. I'm going to go through the presentation real quick just to make sure I show you everything that I needed to. And you already know about me. Here's the toolbar. You can tell I'm in my workspace account because I can see all these options on the bottom. And then this would be a personal account, and this is an upgrade version, and I do have all these options on the bottom. And it shows there are 3 people in here because I'm presenting on one, and then I have one participant and myself. So it always shows myself in here. So let's go ahead and show you that changing the layout of a meeting. And I'm going to click on more options, and I'm going to show you change layout. Right now it's on auto. If I switch to tiled, there's only 2 of us in here, so it won't show much of a difference. But if I switch to spotlight, I'll close this, it spotlights the presenter. And then it shows me, and I can move this around, which is kind of cool. And I can shrink myself. If I don't want to see mine at all, I can shrink that. If I go back to the 3 dots and go to change layout and I switch to sidebar, then I can see my participants on the side. And this is what I was talking about earlier. If I click on the chat, I can see them on the side. I can also see the presentation and I can see my chat. I really do like this layout. Then if I click on change layout again, and I'll just go back to auto, you can see it changed it to fill my participants on this side and the chats here. So just click around and see whatever looks best for you. The more people that are in it, it might look a little different for you. Then using captions. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click here where you can see captions are off. I can also click right here, turn on captions. And it says captions have been turned on in English. And you can see everything I'm saying shows up on the bottom of the screen. Now only I see it. My participant can't see that. Only if they turn it on will they see what I'm saying. I'll turn that back off. And then it disappears. So it's just a nice feature. Then, okay, host controls. This is the part that is an upgrade. And if you look in the bottom right hand side, you can see this little host controls icon. I can click that and I can see host management. I can see a few different options. I can let them share their screens, which right now I am letting my participants share a screen, and setting chat messages, quick access. I can turn that on or off. So once I'm done with this, if I want to turn that quick access off, and I don't want anyone to be able to join it again, I can flip this off and no one can get in unless I was here first. I can also get to that, not just from here. I can click view all host settings and I can see the audio, the video, the host controls, and control everything right in that same spot. And then I can also click on the dots and I can see settings here. So there's quite a few places you can get to for the same information. Then I showed you the presentation shortcut, and that's how I'm using to present this. This is what it looks like. And then chat controls. Let me go ahead and show you the chat. I'm going to click on the chat on the bottom, chat with everyone. Right now, it does say messages can be able to be seen by everyone in the call and are deleted when the call ends. Now, if I want to turn that off, I just flip it off. And then if my participant opens it up where they want to chat, it'll say that it's not available. So I can go ahead and let's see, how are you doing today? Then, I'm actually right next to me. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to chat. So you can see that my participant responded. Then if I turn it off, I can still chat. Now it's time to do some work. They'll see that, but they won't see any option. All it says is that chat's not available, which is what I show right here in this screenshot. Chat isn't available. Then leaving the call versus ending the call. I'm going to go ahead and click let's see, I don't know if I want to do that yet. Hold on. I'll come back to do this. All right, recording a meeting. If I click on the dots, I can go ahead and click record meeting. And I'm going to show this. It'll say recording, start meeting, start recording. And then it'll save to my drive. I'm not going to record right now because I don't want to mess with my internet, but that's where the option is. If you don't have this option, it'll just be missing here and you won't be able to record. You won't even see the option. Then Jamboard. I'm going to click down on the right hand side under activities and I'm going to click on whiteboarding. And I'm going to just start a new whiteboard. It says it's creating a jam. And then it says automatically someone needs access to this file. And I do want the participant in there to be able to edit. So I'm going to say send. Yes, they're outside the organization. So I'm going to click got it because I want them to be able to participate. And it pops up right in front of my screen. So I'm just going to move it down so I can see it. And I close this. And you'll see on the right hand side, this is the actual name of the document. And it'll show up in the chat of my participant, which is really nice because then she can add to it. And then I'm going to close this. All right, and I'm in my jam. And then I can go ahead and let's just say I start a sticky note, favorite, animal, save. And then let's change the color, favorite, food, save. And change the color and favorite, drink, save. And then we cancel this. So then you can see 3 different options. And then I'm just going to, as an example, and I just opened it as my participant. And you should be able to see her icon pop up in a second. And I can go ahead and add a note. Dog. And you can see her note. I'm going to move it down. And then food. That's a tough one. I'm just going to say pizza. And I can move that. And I could put a name on it if I wanted to, so that way if multiple people are in here at one time, it doesn't get confusing. And then favorite drink, sweet tea, because I'm in the South and that's normal. All right, so there you go. So it's just a cool collaboration tool that you can use within Google Meet. This is really cool. I can see it, they can add it. I can even move things around, even though she's the one that entered that. And that's the Jamboard. I'm going to go ahead, and you can always rename this if you want to. So if you want to rename it so you know how to find it later on, you can. All right, and I'll shrink that. That was Jamboard. And breakout rooms. I'm going to go ahead and click back on the activities. And I'm going to click on breakout rooms. Right now, you can see the main call and only one other person. I'm going to click set up breakout rooms. I'll say 2. There's nobody else to be in this one, but I'll just say 2. And if I click on the box, I can actually change these. So if we want to talk about books, then let's say one group is talking about Secret Garden, and then the other one is doing Harry Potter. Oops. Then I can go ahead and open rooms, and it'll say breakout rooms are in session. She's joining, and so now it goes back to me. You can see I'm still in this because the other one is in the Secret Garden group. I can join that group. All right, now I'm in a group with her. Now I can leave it. I'm returning to the main call. And then let's go ahead and end the rooms. Close all rooms. It gives them 30 seconds to join, and they can actually choose to return to the main call. So there we go. Now back in there. So I'm going to go ahead and have her present again. And you can see that if it's outside the organization, it shows that they keep on coming back in, just so you always know when you're leaving from one room to another. All right, and that's the breakout rooms. Then Google Classroom. This is one I'll show you in a separate tab. Let me go back to ending the call because I can show you that in a separate Google Classroom. Let's see. All right. All right, so now the leaving the call and ending the call. If I click on leave call, it's going to give me the option to end the call or just leave the call. In my case, because I won't use this again, I'm going to end the call. I'll do just leave it in case. I just left the call, which means I can rejoin. So I hop back on. My participant is still in there because I didn't turn off any quick access. I say join now. She's still presenting. That happens almost like if you were accidentally kicked out. Just hop back in. But this time, if I hang up and end call, it'll say you've ended the meeting for everyone. And it shows me that my other person was removed from the meeting. So they get kicked out automatically and they can't join again. On their end, it says your host has ended the meeting. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, now for the last part of this session, we're going to go ahead and show you the Google Classroom generated meeting links. I already created a Google Classroom. You can see it right here, my Google Meet Masterclass. I use this just because it's the same name as the course that I have, but if you are interested, now that you've learned a little bit more about Google Meet, it is linked underneath the presentation in the video, so you can check that out there. So as I was showing you before in the video, you can see right here, Meet Link, Generate Meet Link, because once I open up Google Classroom, it's not there automatically. So I click that and then Generate Meet Link. It thinks for a second and creates the meeting link. Then you have the option to choose whether you want it visible to students or not. You can toggle this on or off. I'm fine with it being visible for students, so I'm going to click Save. And then it shows up right here. So now, if I click on it, it opens up my Google Meet. It has the code, which is basically the end. If you look, it looks a little different. Right here, it looks the same as this, but each time you click on it, this link right here is different each time you click on it. So let me close that. That way you can see it's different. Right now it starts with XBA. So I'm going to close it. Then I'm going to click on it again. Now this time it says KMD. That's because it's a secure link, and every time you open that, it's technically a different link. So the kids can't just type in that link and get to it. So that's where the link is. Now, if for some reason you need to reset this when you're in your class, all you have to do is go up to the top right-hand side, click on the little cogwheel, and scroll down just a little bit to where it says Google Meet, and click on the drop down, and you can reset it. Once you reset, it'll change that nickname meeting. And that's it. Then I can close that and go back to my Google Meet link if I want to join my students in the class. So that is Google Meet and Google Classroom. Then there are some bonuses here. One is the 10 things that you didn't know about Google Meet, the Shake Up Learning show, episode 110, where Casey and I talk a little bit about this stuff. And then there is a link for Google Meet Masterclass, which is an affiliate link because I do get a little bonus since I was the one that created the course. So whenever I share my link, I do get a little bonus from that. And then there is a YouTube Google Meet quick tips link from Casey Bell, and go ahead and do yourself a favor and subscribe to her channel because she has tons of quick tips for all things Google. And then there is a link for Google Meet shortcuts, and I'll click on that really quick. Lots of information here, but this is a great little cheat sheet. If you use Google Meet all the time and you want to know those shortcuts instead of having to search around for the buttons on your screen, these are the shortcuts for you. All right. Then I just wanted to say, if you want to do any more work with any of us, just go ahead and click on that Work With Us link, and we would love to hear from you. and maybe come out and work with their schools, whether it's in person or virtual, whatever we're able to do. And I thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to connect with you.